all, how are you doing? Thanks for joining us today. My name's Greg. I'm with VL Performance, and I'm joined with the wizard behind the curtain, Cody Van Lanen. We want to talk to you a little bit today about trucks. It's time for trucks. And why is it time for trucks? Because it's winter. And in winter time, we have adverse conditions. And I don't know about you, but if you depend on your truck the way I depend on my truck during the winter, I want to make sure that I have performance and reliability through the winter. So what we want to talk about a little bit today from the eyes of the tuner is what are some things that you need to think about. Maybe you just bought a truck, maybe you're earning some money this year plowing snow. And what are the things you need to be thinking about right now that will help save you some time, some trouble, and some breakdowns later on. So I'm going to turn it over to Cody, and he can share with you a few of the pointers.
Yeah, first and foremost, making sure your truck is mechanically ready. Breakdowns cost the companies money. Downtime does suck for everybody, so biggest thing is doing a full inspection. We'll bring the truck in, we'll go through it, we'll recommend some needed repairs, some preventive maintenance items, and if the truck is ready for, say, the dyno for some improvements, we'll talk with the customer at the consult, and then we'll kind of go through that. And then some of the things that I really tailor on the dyno tuning side is throttle response for the driver. I know Greg has commented on that before in our previous videos on the doggy throttle response and some of the newer model trucks out there, one being his 3500 Chevy he was driving last year. So I went in and improved throttle response, fuel mileage, got some more power out of it through the whole horsepower and torque range, so that was huge. Any comments on that from last year, how you like that?
Yeah, I found as I drove, after you get 12, 15 hours behind the wheel, I found that the truck was working against me, not for me. And I kept feeling like I had to horse the truck around. And after Cody helped with the tuning, I got a lot more response to the pedal, and all of a sudden, I think I had more endurance in terms of the hours behind it. So, you know, if you're spending time plowing during the winter, you probably want to think about tuning, you want to think about throttle response, you want to think about torque to those back wheels where you get a little bit more power. You don't have that sponginess in your pedal.
Yeah, that wraps up on the engine side. And another side that I don't touch on too often is transmission tuning side. And I utilize HB tuners for all my Ford, GM, and Dodge truck product. I'll go in and I'll tweak around the transmission tune to better cater how the driver's using the vehicle. And I've had some pretty good response over the years on that as well. So now just with the engine tune, you will get a transmission tune with this package as well. So
Tranny tune versus an engine tune, well, how do those two work in sync?
They do work in sync. So what I always think about is longevity, excuse me, on the transmission side. So if the customer's pulling a big loads a lot of times, I'll go on and kind of tweak the transmission tune to cater that. Which the engine side, the transmission side, kind of got to be talking well together.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to performance side, you got to make sure, not so much on the tow truck side of things, but if the performance side of the engine is catered up, you got to make sure the tune on the transmission side does match that. And he does go with fuel mileage and that kind of stuff too. So I do.
So if we got guys and gals out there that might pull a trailer during the winter, I know last year I actually had salt, so I'm slinging around 4,000 pounds of salt at a time.
Right.
So it sounds like that would be a good time to think about a tranny tune.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Cody, talk to us. I know so we've talked a little bit about typical maintenance inspection. You don't want anything to break down on you when it's 20 below zero and it's 2 in the morning, especially if you're trying to run a business. So that's critically important. The second thing we talked about is tranny tuning or engine tuning. Either get a little bit better responsiveness from the motor, from the pedal.
Yep.
The last thing that I think we should really talk a little bit about is miles per gallon. I think, especially as someone who's contracting out snow removal, they're spending a lot of hours and a lot of dollars in fuel. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, a lot of, depending on what truck it is, but a lot of the factory calibrations are very rich from the factory, so they can kind of cater to all different regions. So what I do is I tune the truck to be specifically, in the Fox Valley general area in Wisconsin. Through that, and then there's a lot of tables within the ECU you can change to cater better fuel mileage for this area. A lot comes into like power too on that as well. More rich isn't always more power, so I'll cater that on the dyno as well. And by reading horsepower and torque, I can tell instantly improvement. And I've gotten 5 miles per gallon, 3, 5, 6 average on some of those. So it all adds up. Yeah.
That definitely makes a big difference. I mean, you can do the math, but you know how many gallons of fuel you typically burn in a winter, and 2 miles per gallon, even 3 miles per gallon can make a big difference to your pocketbook.
Yep.
All right, so as a wrap here, I want to thanks again to you for listening in, and want you to know that if you want to contact us, especially if you have interest in a tune, the best way to do that is go to our website. If you go down to the lower left-hand corner of our website, you're going to see a form there that says tuning request, and you can schedule your tune right online. The reason that's important is because we are quite busy with tunes, and we can work you in so that we can get you in and out of here in a day, but we're not really equipped to have just you stop by and drop in and do your tune that day. We can also then share with you some specific pricing based on the year, make, model, and brand of your truck. So that's the quickest way to check us out and get connected with us and get you set up for a tune.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.